What the stats actually feel like. Part 2 of a reader's primer for the integration era. Last post I defined the 6 stats in the abstract. That's a start, but it leaves the hard work undone. You know what frame is, technically. You don't yet know what it's like to stand next to someone with frame 30 when you have frame 12. That's the gap I want to close, so 4 scenes. 4 ways of translating the stats into something your body can feel. The purist fighter and the sentinel. Imagine a peak human soldier, 10 years of training. Top 1% physical conditioning, explosive strength, fast twitch, stamina to burn, coordinated under pressure. Pre-integration, this person was the best you could reasonably be. Now put them in power armor and give them the best railgun conventional engineering can produce. This is a purist fighter, and on paper, they should be terrifying. Now put them across a room from a modest sentinel, frame 22. Not exceptional by system standards, civilian by background. No special training, only what the integration's reinforcement has given them. Here's what it feels like. The purist fighter is faster. Noticeably. They move better, their reactions are sharper, they can shoot more accurately in motion. All of the things a body can be trained to do, their body does better, and it will not matter. The sentinel takes the shots that land and keeps walking. The punches that connect feel, to the purist, like hitting an engine block. The sentinel's own punches don't feel like punches. They feel like the room itself hitting you. Somewhere around the 3rd or 4th exchange, the purist realizes they are not fighting a better fighter. They are fighting a different category of object that happens to be person-shaped. This is the uncomfortable lesson every purist doctrine keeps failing to absorb. Peak human is not a stat tier, it's a different scale entirely, and the system scale is higher. The high lattice student. A kid with lattice 18 walks into a classroom. No augmentation, no skills equipped, just the baseline reinforcement the system provides everyone. Here's what it looks like to the teacher. The kid is attentive but not visibly gifted in the old sense. They don't have a perfect memory. They don't do arithmetic faster than the class. If you tested their IQ by pre-integration standards, the result would be unremarkable. Here's what it actually is. The kid sees how the lesson connects to 3 other lessons they had last month. They notice when the textbook's worked example skips a step, and they know which step. When the teacher writes a problem on the board, the kid's overlay quietly surfaces 2 solution paths and flags one as more efficient. Not because the system is doing the work for them, but because high lattice means the structure of the problem is visible to them, the way a chord progression is visible to a trained musician. They don't know more. They see more of what's there. Put 2 lattice 18 kids in a room together, and they start inventing frameworks nobody taught them. That's the stat doing what the stat does, the high drive runner. 2 soldiers hit a 10-mile forced march in full kit. Same training, same gear, same terrain. One has drive 14, the other has drive 8. At mile 2, there's no visible difference. At mile 5, the drive -14 soldier is still talking. At mile 7, the drive -8 soldier is in the pain cave, counting steps, negotiating with their lungs. At mile 10, both finish. But only one is ready to go again. Drive isn't fitness. Fitness is trainable, and both soldiers trained. Drive is how long the engine runs before it admits it's an engine. A high drive person under load doesn't feel stronger than you. They feel like they haven't noticed yet that this is hard. The high echo commander. This one is harder to describe, because echo is the least body-like of the stats. You've been in a room where someone walked in, and the conversation shifted to accommodate them. Not because they asked it to, not because they were loud, because their presence weighed something. You felt yourself orient toward them before you decided to. Multiply that by 10. That's what a high echo commander feels like in a command tent. When they speak, the room treats the words as load-bearing, including people who haven't met them before. When they're wrong, disagreeing still costs something. Not socially. But at a level below social, the way arguing against gravity costs something. In our world, we'd call this charisma, and we'd assume it was performance. In the integration, it isn't. The system is reinforcing the commander's presence the same way it reinforces a sentinel's bones. Their authority is a physical property of the room they're standing in. One more thing. You might read these and think, okay, so the stats describe superhuman capabilities, got it. That's not quite right. The lesson isn't that stat holders are superhuman. It's that after enough exposure, your definition of human quietly adjusts to include them. A Frame 22 Sentinel is just a person to another integration error person. The all wears off. What doesn't wear off is meeting the purest fighter, the peak, the trained, the dedicated, and realizing the world has moved somewhere that training can't reach. That feeling, that specific ache, is the one the setting is built around. You've been listening to The Integration Era, stories by Charlie Foret. All content is copyright 2026 by Charlie Foret, all rights reserved. Voices produced by Speechify. New stories, world-building deep dives, character dossiers, and more are available now at integrationera.com. Subscribe to get notified when the next story drops. The system is watching. You might as well keep up.